Wepa, it's Valerie Félix, the 92.5 Maxima here in Tampa. And today I have a special guest with me. He comes with a mix of reflection and community and a little humor about our very unique Florida life. HBO and HBO Max are bringing back the hit series East Florida Man. Season 2 premieres this November 28th. And by the way, that's my birthday. So what a
Ah,
better way to, celebrate my birthday than with the season 2 of It's Florida Man. I have with me creator, director, and executive producer, the one and only Jeff Tomsic. How you doing? ¿Cómo estás?
I'm good, Valerie. Bien. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. Talk about this unique. It's weird because I know. Clarify this for me. It's true that this was created because of a meme, the Florida Man meme.
Yeah, had you not heard about it? It's this thing that was going on forever, the Florida Man meme, and it just felt like a good entry point for a crazy comedy show. It actually came from Danny McBride and Roughhouse. I don't know if know him from the Righteous Gemstones and Eastbound and Down and Vice Principals on HBO. And we've been trying to work for together for years. And then knowing I was a crazy Floridian myself, he came to me with this, and it was a dream. All I said that I want to really make a love letter to Florida. I don't want to punch down. I don't want this to be bum fights. I wanted to really look at a lot of these people as Southern Buddhists. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I've been here in Tampa, Florida for 8 years now, and I have to say there's a lot of crazy things going on,
Yes, sir.
every day. But let's say what makes you really think and say we have to come back with season two? Like, what was the point? What was still missing that you said, hey, we need a season two here, people?
This is a bottomless well of craziness, the state that we live in, Valerie. There are so many stories. You wouldn't believe it. I have spreadsheets of just thousands of these headlines and submissions. There'll never be enough airtime on HBO
I don't think
to
so. Like,
all.
we're talking about gators in parking lots and houses every day. We're talking about hurricanes and we're talking about neighbors doing crazy stuff. So, how do you prepare and do you observe real people or you just, you get observations and material from other people and then you say, oh, this should be good for the show.
Well, for first season, we used existing headlines. So we went to news outlets and just saw what they were putting up, and then we did our own explorations to see if there was a good story there, if those characters were compelling. This season was almost entirely, in fact, it might be wholly submissions. These stories this season were all volunteered by the real people who wanted to tell their stories on television, which is crazy to me. I'm a pretty private person. I don't know if I'd share
Yeah.
a small embarrassing moment, let alone the
Florida
day I
people is not too private, as you can see.
got. But I think this new season is even better because the stories were volunteered, so they were much more forthright with us. They told us probably a deeper story than us just dragging it out of them. And what's cool is a lot of them turned into these like very hopeful redemption stories where you see them do what seems like the stupidest, most dangerous thing. It's humiliating, but that's the moment they got their stuff together.
Yeah.
And
That's what I was gonna say. Like the show is funny, but at the same time, many of those stories reflect real issues. So
yeah.
how you did to balance that, safety with community and also humor.
Well, I think I went into it looking for just generally looking for people that you normally don't see on television. So much of what you see is like rich people in LA, rich people in New York. You're not often seeing a redneck man in his 60s who's in love, who's racist, but also in love with a black man on television, living in a trailer together. You know, there's stuff that you can't fake that I think is more revelatory because it is real often. So I'm often trying to sneak a very optimistic story about parts of humanity that it's not easy to admit, and it's not easy to believe
Hmm.
when it's fiction. So, like I said, I went into this to make a love letter to the state of Florida, and also to approach these people with genuine affection. And often I ended up leaving these interviews from a guy that dove naked into a gator-infested swamp and thought maybe he's living life better.
No, no. So you say that you feel responsible for how the show influences the country view of Florida and the people from Florida.
Well, I don't know if I have that much power, but I think that, but I think largely you're seeing the rest of the country make fun of Florida in sort of a generalized way. And I at least want to be more specific about
Yeah,
it.
right. You
You
go
know?
straight to the point.
Well, I think the impression everyone gets is largely just Miami when they think of Florida and that level of craziness. But there's like 20 different states, all
Yeah.
these different worlds built in. It's like backwoods country up north. Tampa's its own totally different thing. Miami's different. The Everglades are like from another universe,
Yes.
and it's fun being a Floridian and like experiencing those places that are not that far away. For real. I had no idea even living here for so long that it was so diverse. I mean, Tampa's crazy. We
Yeah.
interviewed one of the segments last season we didn't get to use was we interviewed Jane Castor, the mayor, and she found I can't remember how much, but quite a bit of cocaine floating
Oh,
in
wow.
in the sea off the coast of Key West while on a family fishing trip. I mean, that
See,
alone, that's
yeah, I heard that on the news. That's true. Those are
yeah,
facts. Those are facts. So
yeah.
when you do this series, is there some improvisation or like is like every story is like 100% what was shared with you?
Well, we base everything off of like absolute documentary. So it's all coming from real interviews. That's where we start with the real stories from that we're told anyway from these people, and we try to fact check them because they're all so crazy to the best of our ability.
Hmm.
And then I go to extreme lengths in sort of a fantasy reality when we do the stuff with the actors to just dive into the comedy. But I try to only do that if our characters, our real people, are opening the doors to those ideas.
Yeah.
We're not making up things that didn't happen. Sometimes it's blown out of proportion in the fake recreation, but it's all based on things that these people have said or
You have to
mentioned.
create some extra drama, that's how
Yeah.
things are. So without spoilers, what storyline will make Floridians say that's too accurate, you will say, for this season two?
Uh, well, the first episode is about a man who had his dog seized by the FDLE, and in order to enact revenge on the state law enforcement, he decided to steal an entire casino boat, which
Yeah.
is, and then was never caught for it. And this is the first time he's talking about it openly, because I
So
think the statute,
he contacted you guys to tell his story?
yeah, this happened 20 years ago, so the statute of limitations is over, but he's never admitted this story until now. So
Oh,
that's hopefully it's not too true for him because he's a lovely guy.
that's awesome. Well, I didn't know about that Speedy, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What?
It's just north of Tampa.
So what tips do you have for consuming content consistent with conscious?
Um,
Because sometimes
in what, in what,
it's
in
hard
what
for
way?
people
No.
to balance humor in real life. Sometimes people go to the extreme and instead of, hey, we're trying to portray, we're trying to give you guys, real life lessons, but with humor. But sometimes people don't think it about it that way.
Well, I think the key rule is not to be abusive to people, you know? And it's a big rule for me. I'm not, the people on this show put a lot of trust in me. They know what the show is. But I don't want to abuse that trust. And I think generally that's the line in the sand, right? I am a sort of a sap. I try to be kind to everyone. And I think kindness is something that has fallen as a priority for people, but like that's the first rule. You're
Yeah.
not going to do anything wrong if you're thinking about how you can be kind. And it was really the impetus for doing a show about these headlines because the headlines themselves are often sort of abusive. They're just trying to get they're just clickbait. They're making fun of people without their consent at
Yeah.
very low points in their lives. And I I make sure that I'm asking, do you really want to do this? This is going to be on national television, first of all, and talk a lot about where that silliness is going to come from. And I have a pretty good understanding about where those lines what lines can't be crossed. So
Mhm.
I think, just have to be loving generally. It's pretty simple, right?
Yes.
Just don't
And that's
don't
important.
intend.
And I'm very
Yeah.
glad that you go through that process because sometimes maybe someone is like, oh, this is my laugh and this is funny, let me send it. But then they're like, oh, this is gonna be in television, everybody's gonna see it. And then it's like, oh, I made a mistake. So it's awesome that you actually follow up. Hey, are you sure? This is the way we're gonna treat it and make that person comfortable, exposing, all this that craziness that happened in his life or her life at some point.
I try to do that. I mean, I am legitimately interested in the people that I'm talking to always, and there's certain people that are actually committing criminality, and then that I can't be a part of. But um, generally, I think these stories are about people admitting that this was sort of a low point or an embarrassing moment in their lives, but it's instructive to other people. I think you'll find that throughout the second season. You get to the end and you realize that this is, we had a guy that had real drug problems and did way too much meth, broke into a Little Caesars, got trapped in the ceiling for
It's
hours
crazy.
of this Little Caesars pizza. And he really wanted to do a show because he's very committed to recovery. And he wanted to say to other people that might have these problems, hey, like if I can do this thing and turn my life around, you can do it and probably do it before you do something so humiliating that turns up on national television. But it was very giving, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna think it twice before I do something else in my life because it can end up on HBO.
well, certainly we have people that have second thoughts and decide not to do the show along the way. Um, I don't. I don't blame them. I don't think I would. I'm a very private person, so I would never reveal my life on television. But some of them have real interest in doing it to help other people, which is surprising on a show this wacky, you know.
Yes.
But why else make something?
I'm super excited. Like I said, season two premieres in my birthday, November 28th on HBO and HBO Max. Jeff, thank you so much for your time and hit me up if you need some stories. I have some co-workers here, really interesting co-workers.
I'll take you up on that, Valerie. Thanks so much.
Gracias.
Muy grande. Take care.